Wow.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of
Health and Wellness 360 with TFal Chi.
Our mission is to empower you to be the very best version of yourself
by providing you with practical and tangible tools to live a healthy lifestyle.
Our show is going to be dynamic,
informative,
educational,
and loads of fun.
And now enjoy the show.
Hello everyone. Hello, good to see you guys. Welcome.
Health and Wellness 360.
TFal Chi.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, wherever you're dialing in from, thank you for being here today. So excited to have you guys on today.
Yes. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us on our first show, our debut of Health and Wellness 360.
I want to thank, Black Doctor, Alice and team. Thank you so much
for having us.
Love it. Thank you. Can't wait to get this going.
Yes. So we can't really see who's on. Let's see who's on.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're
joining us from. Just type it in
this
there.
Morning on Health and Wellness 360, where we kind of connect everything.
All of it.
All connected.
Yes.
So
because we have so many wonderful speakers that come on these shows, California.
Yes.
California is in the house. Love it. Thank you, California.
North Carolina.
Thanks, Shannon. Shannon from North Carolina. Thank you. Love it. Just type it in there. Atlanta.
ATL in the house.
Thanks, Dee.
Thank you.
We'll see you. Thank you.
Good morning.
Simone.
Good morning. Thank you, Simone, for joining us.
Well done.
On Health and Wellness 360. Virginia. East Coast is really representing. Where? Chicago peeps.
I love it. Virginia, Michigan.
Midwest. Yes. Let's do this. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Herman, Alabama. Thank you so much.
So, Texas.
We love Texas.
Thank you so much joining us.
Thailand.
Oh my.
Love it. From Thailand. Oh my gosh. Orlando. Thank you.
We're so excited.
This is amazing.
Thank you
everywhere.
So much for spending your Saturday morning with us on this our debut show of Health and Wellness 360. But before we get started, thank you. Keep it coming. Let us know where you're joining from. Tag your friends. Have them join us.
That's right.
Before we get started, let's introduce ourselves.
That's right.
Let's
meet you guys. Why don't you go first, honey?
Sure, I'll go first.
Okay.
My name is Toyin TFal, and I am an infectious disease physician. Graduated med school 30 years ago next summer. It's hard to believe, but an infectious disease physician. I'm an author, a podcaster, a wellness coach, a wife and mom, and I'm totally passionate about wellness, both in my professional life as a physician for many years, who does clinical work, does research, and in my professional life, but also in my personal life. Really excited about sharing about wellness and living a healthy lifestyle. And that's just a little bit about me. There's more information about us we'll talk about, but thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for being here. And I'm Chairman of Chi. I'm a healthcare director and spent all my formative years just learning and trying to teach people how to be the very best versions of themselves. Growing up as a young kid, always trying to figure out what wellness means, trying to, and wellness, as we all understand, has to do with the physical, the mental, the social. It all ties in together. So my pursuit of that led me to, designing treatment plans for large corporations. And also, whenever I moved into a community, I was so vested in trying to make sure that I could impact the community with wellness and what it means to them. And done this for so many years on different scales, working with, oil and gas companies, and different communities. And, with the coming together of myself and my wife, we found that there is this strong passion to try to make a difference,
Yes.
to try to give back, especially to our communities. You know, we know the impact of chronic disease to our communities. We know what happened during COVID,
Yes,
right?
yes. COVID brought up, we heard about comorbidities. We'll talk about that on another show, about the impact of our underlying health, on our immune system, on some of the outcomes with COVID. So more than ever, it became important that we get out there and continue to share and empower people with tools. So that brings us to kind of, we've heard a little bit about us.
Yeah.
What's our mission?
Yes. What is our mission? So our mission at TFal Chi is to make and just give you the tools and empower you to be the very best version of yourself. Because we know that everyone starts at a different level. We know that everyone's baseline is different. So we come with that premise, correct, babe?
Correct.
Yeah, that's where we start off. And just to share with you how this whole mission came together, what you see us wearing, and how all this concept of chronic disease came together and how we want to make a difference. Babe, can you share with the audience actually how that came up so organically in putting this together?
Yes, and again, thank you, Alice, for putting that on screen.
That's
the goal is to empower everyone to be the best versions of themselves. Not to be anyone else, but with the tools to be your best version. And speaking of the merch and what we're wearing, we talk about how fab, the Fab Five, what does that mean? A lot of it just came up with just how can we help? What are some of these chronic diseases or comorbidities that we see that impact both the quality and the quantity of life spent, the quality of our lives? So what is the Fab Five? Someone asked up there.
Sure.
We say, what are these things? And I'm going to demo on Chi's chest right here. Some of the things we talk about. We say, how fab are your five? And I have a thing that says, how fab. Correct. It's kind of an awareness to some of these conditions.
Right.
Blood pressure. What is your blood pressure?
Correct.
Your cholesterol.
Right.
Your body mass index or BMI. Your blood sugar. And your waist circumference. Sure. And those five are linked to so many diseases, right? We think about blood pressure and hypertension, your blood sugar and diabetes or pre-diabetes. We're going to talk about these more on the show. We're going to talk about the importance of your waist circumference, your body mass index. But we chose those five because these are things that really impact our communities. Sure. These are things that we can measure very easily. 4 out of those 5 you can do at home, believe it or not. You have a blood pressure machine, a blood sugar check. You can get online and calculate your BMI. You can measure your waist circumference. We all know what our waist circumference is. So these are things that are simple, that we can get those numbers. Correct. And that you can follow over time. So that is why we're saying that when we start to make an awareness about, do you know those numbers, right? We talk about how
knowing those numbers and understanding exactly not just the physical impact, the financial impact, the social impact. So just trying to tie all this together, because we know Black Doctor brings experts from different varied fields, awesome experts. But on this show, we tie the whole thing together. We'll make it simple. We'll make it so organic for you so you can take this home and just practice it.
Exactly.
That's what we're going to be doing in this show.
Really break it down. And so when we say how fab are your 5, we're really saying, do you know those numbers, right? Yeah. And when you know those numbers, do you know what they should be? Do you know where yours are? We know that when it comes to your health, health is wealth. Right. And ignorance is not bliss. Sometimes we like to say, well, if I don't know about it, it won't hurt me. Sure. Well, if you don't know about it, it can and it will hurt you. So we really want to focus on those. And we also feel like these 5 things, once you start to think about your health, about those ways, you're more likely to be a very passionate and engaged consumer in your own healthcare. You're asking the right questions. You want to know about your screening. So this is really an entry into managing your health. So those are the 5. When we talk about how fab, think about it. Right. And we designed the merch. We did. Just sat around and said, let's get
What can we do? Yeah. So we got a piece of paper and we decided to design what are the critical chronic conditions that are very impactful to people's lives. And those conditions also that we could make a difference and make it simple for people to, to mitigate. So, and we're also going to share with you what we do as TFal Chi. How do we do that at TFal Chi,
so
right?
Go ahead
so,
and talk
yeah,
about
I'll take that. So at TFal Chi, and if you go to our website, we're at www.tfalanchi, as you see on the ticker right down there. What we do is impact one life at a time. One life at a time is very important to us, right? Because we know we can touch one person and touch the family as well. So at TFal Chi, we'll work with individuals, we'll work with large groups, we'll work with employer groups. Just all we want to do is to be able to reach our communities.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to see us in your community, you reach out to us. We work with various levels. We have lots of our subscribers on today watching this show as well. So we do individuals, large corporations. We even have a piece of our show where we actually come into your refrigerator,
mm-hmm.
your pantry, to check to see and make sure
yes.
that what you have at home is actually what's leading you towards your purpose, right?
Right. And it looks like Ellie says we have a question coming up. I haven't seen the question.
Let's see the question, Alice, if you have it.
Yes. How often annually should you have your cholesterol checked? Thank you, Simone, for that question. And so, yes, so the baseline is adults over the 18 should have their cholesterol done annually. There are times, so I think it was already in the question, so sure. Thank you for that question. There are times when it's done more often, right? So depending on when people are on certain medications, it's important that they be checked. If your cholesterol levels are high and your physician or your primary care provider has put an intervention in place, maybe lifestyle management, or they started you on medications, then they need to follow the cholesterol levels to see are they improving? Are there changes that need to be made? If it wasn't done fasting, they'll tell you it needs to be done fasting. Sure. So there are times when, especially if you have heart disease, if you have diabetes, it may need to be done more often, and that will be under the guidance of a physician. Sure. But even just having the awareness of how cholesterol ties into heart disease. So, I mean, time goes by pretty quickly. Yeah, this is our debut show. Today. And so what we wanted to do is just kind of transition to what the next couple of weeks are going to look like. We're fortunate and grateful that Black Doctor has given us this opportunity. Correct. You've heard a little bit about us, who we are, and why we're doing this. And you can get more information on our website.
Let's do that.
But what we would like to do now is just give you an idea that over the next couple of weeks, what are some of the topics we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, and some of the topics, will be like gut health. What is gut health?
Yeah, we're going to talk about why your gut health matters. You've heard us say, happy gut, happy life. It really is. The things that the bacteria, when the bacteria in our gut are healthy, we're happy. It affects our mood. It affects your energy level. We talk about why bloating is not normal and how the things we can do in terms of impacting our gut health and how much of our immune system actually is in our gut. We'll talk about what is a healthy lifestyle.
Healthy lifestyle. Hey, so we know that a healthy lifestyle is, means, being able to incorporate the mental, the physical, as well as the social, but always doing it in a deliberate manner, doing it every day. So we're going to share with you what that means and make it a very practical way, how to shop better, how to do those things and incorporate those things into your lives and be able to share with your families as well. So these are the things we're trying to, we're going to incorporate in the next few weeks as well. And prepare for your doctor's visit.
Yeah, so
the topic coming up, right?
Yes, we're going to delve into that, right? Because we know sometimes navigating the doctor's office can be complicated. Correct. What are you hearing? What are you not hearing? We'll have a show where we talk about how do you best prepare for that visit? Correct. What are the things you need to do before the visit, during the visit, and after the visit to make sure it's impactful, that your questions are answered, and you know what you need to do to take charge of your health. We'll do that. We'll talk about what is longevity and what are the traits of those people who live long?
Longevity, exactly. That's another topic that's going to come up. We're going to share with you in the next few weeks. So talking about people and longevity, we're not talking about just living long, but quality. Quality is super important, right? So how do you live into your later years and having that great quality of life? We're going to talk about people in different regions of the world that have those traits and how they do that. So that's coming up as well. We're going to talk about sleep. right?
Sleep matters,
Yeah,
right?
sleep is part of health.
It is. And, we're so used to like when the kids are, they're little, they need their naps. Well, for adults, how not just the quantity of our sleep, but the quality of our sleep, and how poor sleep affects our weight, our mood, our productivity, and what are the things we can do to improve and optimize our sleep. So we'll talk about that.
Sure.
And time, again, like we said, tying all of these topics to outcomes.
Exactly.
Chronic disease outcomes, and
Exactly.
the impact of sleep on your risk of insulin resistance and weight gain and diabetes, all of those things, and what your cortisol levels are doing and all of that. So really being able to tie those things. It looks like there's another question.
Let's have
Sleep
the question.
matters.
Sleep matters, of course.
Hashtag.
Explain
what a patient with irritable bowel syndrome should be done regularly, from diet to medication, in addition to stress control. That is one of the things we're going to be talking
when
about.
we talk about gut health.
Gut health.
When we talk about gut health, we're going to be able to break that down. How 70% of your immune system is inside your gut, and how what you eat produces hormones that impact the way you feel, the way you think, the way you act. So these are all great questions.
Amazing.
Keep them coming. We're going to be able to break this all down in this session's coming in the next few weeks as well.
And that was such an excellent question about the gut health and IBS, because a lot of things that happen with the microbiome in our GI tract affects more than just a digestive system.
Right.
So that is an excellent question, and how mental health and stress levels do affect our gut. There is a whole thing about the research on the brain-gut connection. So that was an excellent question, which we're going to be able to delve into more and more. But it is important to know that they're all connected. I don't know if that's another question that came up. But we're going to be talking about, we're going to be traveling a lot. People are road trips, air flying, now that COVID is lessening and things like that. How do you travel smart?
Sure, I'll take that, honey. So when we talk about traveling, we're going to be able to provide you tips about how to be a smart traveler, how to avoid all the straps at the airports, right? So there's a lot of junk out there at the airport.
Expensive junk too.
Expensive junk. How do you avoid those, right? So we're going to talk about how to make simple, very simple, inexpensive, super healthy, traveling tips. Those are coming up. We're going to also share with you how to get your family on board.
Yes, we've heard those questions from the people we work with. I'm trying to do this, but I need help because how do I do my own, healthy thing? We'll talk about how to get your family on board, your friends, your family on board. How are the tips to do without lording it over them and saying, I'm on a health mission, how showing them how you are doing your stuff, your commitment to that, and how helps them, how to get kids involved in the process, how to shop the grocery aisles smartly so that the kids are part of what comes into the home. We'll talk about that. So to do that, we'll talk about exercise. For me, people ask a lot all the time, I don't have time to go to the gym. I don't want to lift weights. Do we have to have a gym membership to be healthy?
Of course not. Exercise doesn't have, mean you have to be in the gym. Not at all. Because exercise can mean you want to go out and walk. You want to go out and dance. Anytime, dancing is awesome. So anytime you exert yourself, that's important. Making sure your heart is healthy. Exerting yourself is exercise, right? So you take a walk, you want to dance, you want to tango, you want to salsa, whatever, R&B, whatever it is for you, do it, right? So you don't have to have a gym membership. You don't have to have, some expensive, money spent someplace. We're going to teach you simple things you can do where you can work out at home, you can work out at the park, you can work out as you're taking a walk with your significant other, your spouse, your children, your family members, your friends. So we have all that package and it's all coming up.
Yes. So you broke it down so much in terms of it's all about moving more.
Moving
more. And all the data that says we can't just wait until 30 minutes at the gym and the rest of the time we're doing nothing. Making movement the default until we're ready for sleep. Moving more and doing it in a fun way with whoever is in our lives. That is amazing. We're going to be saying, well, what about water?
Water is going to have to become your best friend.
We're going to make water your best friend.
Your best friend. Yeah, water goes to you to bed, goes in your car, to your office, it goes everywhere. So we're going to teach and talk about the import of water, what it does in your cells, and the import of that in terms of that you need water to, expel from your skin as well in order to be healthy. So there are a lot of things we're going to teach you in that space in terms of the import of water and how to incorporate water into your lifestyle, and we'll also talk about, oral health.
Yes.
Because, it's all part of health and wellness, right?
Yes. And sometimes we kind of don't think about that.
Yeah.
Like the importance of I know we already said sleep matters, but we're going to say oral health rocks, and sometimes we think about, it's just brushing and not having bad breath. Now, those are important, but there's more to that, because if you think about it, our body is pretty much water and bacteria.
That's right.
And that's why we really need to feed the good bacteria and why gut health matters, and drink a lot of water. If you think about it, we're made of water and bacteria for the most part.
Yeah.
So what's really important with our oral health is that's where our GI tract starts. Our digestive system starts from our mouth, and also just keeping the right check.
So it starts in the mouth and ends in the large colon, right?
Yes, and all the way out in the anal region. So it's important to know that your oral health matters. The bacteria in your mouth, the flora in your mouth, it matters. There's data that, bacteria and oral health is predictive sometimes of cardiovascular disease. It's really important. And there are things that are picked up, cancers that are picked up just by screening orally. So it's really important to know that oral health matters. We're going to talk about reading food labels. That, I think, is so critical. Why is that critical?
Yeah, because, reading food labels, you all know, going into the grocery stores, wherever you shop, they're just traps everywhere, right? Sugar. Yeah, Sugarland, right? So forgive me for those who live in Sugarland, but it's Sugarland in the grocery stores. Everywhere you look, the corners are packed with sugars, right? But how do you make those right choices, especially when you grab the foods to read those labels? Over 70% of what you find in the grocery stores has added sugar in it. So think about it, north of 70%. So how do you become a smart shopper, right? Not just for yourself, because when you shop for yourself, you're ultimately shopping for your family as well. You're changing the trajectory. We're going to talk about those things as well.
Yeah.
So as we move on in this show today, because we're counting down, we have 30 few more minutes to go here. But we're coming back. June 5. We're here in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
But just talking about shopping and bringing stuff into the house, because if it's not in the home, you can't snack on it. So we're going to be talking about if it's not in the home,
sugar is not your friend.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
It is. It might make you feel good for a little while. We like to say, if that sugar high and crash makes our toddlers cranky and irritable, it does that to you. The only reason as adults we're not running around throwing tantrums is because we can't. We're adults. But the same way it affects the little kids and it makes them all cranky and weird after they eat sugar, it's the same thing with adults. Right. So we'll talk about the import of regulating your insulin and what it tastes good.
Yeah. Yes, it tastes good.
But there are so many natural foods that taste good.
Yeah.
We will have short videos on some of our segments about substitutions. For those people with sweet tooth, we got you. We got you. Yeah. And we'll talk about a whole bunch of things.
There's a lot to talk about.
What is wellness?
Lots of topics.
Waistline. It's more than cosmetic.
Yeah.
It's our health.
Right. And we're at 9:23 now. So we're going to transition in terms of every time we come to this show, every time you visit with us on this show, there will be a segment called Make It Make Sense.
And this is our producer on video, Ellis, who's very passionate about this, and it's excellent.
Correct.
So in our 30-minute shows over the next couple of weeks, we will have a segment called Make It Make Sense.
Yeah.
And in that segment, we're going to take a couple of minutes. Yes, make it make sense.
That's
#, make it make sense. And why
for
that's
the number.
Yes. We take a number, some number that's thrown around a lot in the doctor's offices on shows, LDL cholesterol, BMI, blood pressure. We take a number, say what is it, what the normal should be, what the abnormal range is, and then we kind of talk about knowing that number and what to do with it.
But that's not all, right? So that's all good, but how do you tie those to disease states, right? Those numbers. So if your blood pressure is 120/80, what does it mean in your body and in your cells, right? And how can you eat foods and exercise to make sure that normal is in place, right?
Yes.
Those are the things we're going to do.
Yeah.
So you can call us connectors on this show.
Yes.
All right?
#connectors.
That's us.
We are going to take those numbers, whatever those numbers are, make it make sense to what it is, but also tie it into those chronic disease states. Sometimes people say, oh, somebody had kidney failure.
Correct.
but they don't really tie it
Sure.
into blood pressure that was
Sure.
uncontrolled, or this person was fine and they just had a stroke.
Right.
But we never tie it into the cholesterol and heart disease.
Yeah.
So that's going to be that make it make sense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with all your stuff in the insurance world in the past, you're going to be talking about the financial implications of
Yes.
doing things early versus later.
Yeah, that's exactly prevention, right? Because, you know, we live in a society where we're so used to managing disease, right? But why do we need to be managing disease if we can prevent them from happening, right? So the point is to be able to break that continuum so that you can actually prevent disease states from happening. So there's a lot to talk about, a lot coming up. And as we move on in this show,
substitutions for sugar.
Yes, those
we'll
are coming
talk
up.
about natural sugar, Simone. We got
you.
you. We'll
Thank you,
have those show and the sweeteners and and satiety and the things that will surge your insulin.
Right.
And so as we're wrapping up, these are really great questions. As we're wrapping up, we'll talk about the Make It Make Sense section. And now as we're finishing up, we're going to be talking about a lot more things on our show, but we really want to leave you with a couple of things because we have just a few minutes.
4 minutes.
You want to go?
Yeah, so one thing I want you to take away from this show today, because today was about introductions.
Yes, today
who we
was
are
intro.
And what's coming in the next few weeks, right? So we're going just 3 things. EMT, just think about this, EMT. And it's not about any emergency.
No.
But it's about eating smart, moving as much as you can, and having a purpose, thinking about your purpose. If you have a purpose, you can get to your journey. So eating smart, moving more, think about your purpose. I want to leave you with that. And babe, can you share, there's some C's you normally use.
Yes, I use those C's. I love EMT, by the way.
Yeah.
EMT, think about it. And my C, the 5 C's that I think are really important on our wellness journey and navigating life are clarity, commitment, consistency, confidence, and compassion. Those 5 C's is what we use in our coaching program, and we use just in our wellness and wellness movement. So really thinking about clarity about your purpose and why you want to be healthy and why that's important to you. Taking that commitment to invest in your health. Being consistent, and that's where a lot of people struggle. Taking daily steps. Don't have to be grand gestures. Every day, being consistent in moving towards your goal of being healthy. Having the confidence to know that you can do this. And having compassion on yourself, that if things don't go right one day, get up and keep going. So those 5 C's are really important. Thank you so much for putting that up.
Yeah, and where do you find us, right? Because we're about to wrap up here. Where do you find us? Remember, we want you to join our movement, right? We want you to be soldiers in this fight. We are www.tfalanchi.com. Go to our website, subscribe, buy the merch, be a messenger. If you see this merch in Japan, if you see it in, South Africa, if you see it in Thailand, you're sending a message. Somebody sees that.
Says,
oh, what are my numbers?
Did I go see my doctor?
Have I seen my doctor?
What's my blood pressure?
You're becoming a messenger in this field. So support us, go to www and subscribe and, let us know. And also in terms of, a couple of other things we want to leave you before we leave today, right?
Yes, to learn more about us. Lisa likes the EMT. Thank you, Lisa. I think there's a question. Ellis popped up at 9:25. I don't know if there's still that question. But in terms of just learning more about what we do, learning about our process, a little bit more about us. Thank you, Trish, for the comments. Thank you so much. Learning about us, learning about what we do and how you can subscribe. Hit subscribe. We have amazing newsletters on our website from our past newsletters where we share recipes. We also share information about a health topic every time where there's a newsletter. So visit our website. We'll be back thank you so much. We'll be back in 2 weeks, but that is kind of this was our intro. Who we are, what we do. And just some of the things we're going to be talking about. But now we're finding the connections.
Yes, but remember, you want love, patience,
and
kindness for yourself
and to others.
Always.
All right.
Always makes sense.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks. That is
2 weeks.
5, and then we're going to dive into. So we're going to hit each topic. One week, one show at a time. We'll have a Make It Make Sense. And we can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bring your friends, invite people, like us on Facebook.
We are going to connect all the dots. We're going to answer your questions, and we're just going to keep it real.
Thank you.
That's how we roll.
That's right. Thank you, guys. Love you
Thank
guys. Thank you,
Thank
supporters
you
out there. Thank you.
so much.
Yes.